guys, so I'm here today really quickly just to give you a quick hair review on some hair that I purchased a while back. Now this hair is from WowAfrican, and I know they are very popular on social media, especially on YouTube. That's what led me to purchase hair from them. Now just a little background, I haven't worn virgin hair a whole lot, but I'm also not like new to it. I purchased my first like virgin hair in 2011, so it was kind of before it got really popular. And the hair that I purchased it, I had 2 bundles, and the bundles were each, I don't remember how much they were each, but I know my hair came up to like $400 and something just for 2 4-ounce bundles of hair. But that hair filled my whole head. I was very happy with the hair, and it lasted me 2 years, which was a pretty long time to me anyway, because I did dye the hair about 4 or 5 times. I cut it a few times, so it lasted me a really long time. It may have lasted longer if I just left it in its virgin state. Okay, so that was the first batch of hair that I bought, and then my next batch of hair, that hair lasted me for 2 years, and then that's when I started to wear my real hair out a little more, prior to purchasing WowAfrican hair. Now I did a ton of research and watched a ton of videos, and most of the reviews that I watched were really good. And I did see a few bad reviews with people saying, you know, that they had such a terrible experience, but it wasn't that many of them, and those were from, I would say, I guess, smaller channels, so I kind of disregarded them. And that was my bad, because I learned shortly thereafter that everything that I had read, or rather heard, in those bad reviews were going to be my reality. So let's get right into the review, and I'll tell you basically the whole story of why I don't think I would ever purchase hair from WowAfrican again. Okay, so I purchased my first set of hair from WowAfrican in, I think, October of 2013. No, 2014. What am I talking about? So about a year and a half ago. It was October of 2014, and my birthday is in November. So I purchased the hair with the plans to wear it in my hair for my birthday. But at the time, you know, the hair was black, and or 1B rather, and I didn't want to color the hair, but my hair, my actual real hair, it's still red, but it's very dull now. At the time it was still a very bright red, so I decided not to put the hair into my hair because I didn't have a closure or, you know, any type of frontal or anything. So I would have had to dye the hair or dye my real hair, and I didn't want to do either. So the hair that I purchased in December, the hair that I purchased in October just kind of got sat to the back burner, and I said that I would save it for my graduation, which would be in May. So I graduated from college, as you guys know, in December, and I walked in May of 2015, which was a year ago. I purchased all 22-inch bundles of their deep curly hair, and the reason I purchased all 22 was because I knew that I wanted the hair to be long and curly, and I figured I could just cut my own layers into it. So in April, as it got a little closer to my graduation, I decided to go ahead and purchase a closure. Now, I had tried a closure before in the past, but I never installed one myself. After watching many reviews, I found that the silk-based closure was one that looks like almost exactly like your scalp, and that was kind of what I was looking for, because I had seen so many terrible closures where you could like see the holes and everything, so I just wasn't here for it. So I went ahead and I purchased the hair, and with WowAfrican, to me, the delivery does take rather long. So it did take a very long time for me to receive my hair, and actually I ordered that hair in April, and my graduation was the 2nd week of May. My hair was supposed to come like a week before my graduation, and it didn't come, so I had to contact them. And then they assured me that I would have it in time for my graduation. I had to go back to Washington, D.C. about a week before my graduation to go to graduation practice, to close any open stuff I had with the school, and to also pick up my cap and gown, things of that nature. So I planned to get the hair the week before my graduation so that I could wash it and do everything I wanted to do with it, you know, create my wig, and then style it in time for my graduation. that didn't happen. The hair did not come before it was time for me to leave to go to Washington, D.C. So my family ended up having to bring the hair with them, and they came down the day of my graduation. So what I did was I took the bundles that I already had with me and I sewed them on to a cap. Doing what I had first, the bundles first, and then doing the closure once it got to me. So my parents got down to DC on Friday, which was the day of my graduation, and everything was already sewn onto the cap. You know, my wefts were sealed, everything was great until I opened the closure. And the textures were completely different. The closure was very, very tightly curled, whereas my bundles were very loose and wavy curled. I didn't have much time to react to it. I just thought that maybe, you know, it was just how it came, and that once I washed it, it would fall into place. So for my graduation, I ended up wearing my hair in a bun, as you will see. I wore my hair in my normal bun, and I decided that I would save the closure for the next day. So on the next day, I did wash the hair for my commencement, and it still just was not blending. So I decided to straighten it really quickly, like run the flat iron over it, and then curl wand it so that it could all kind of have this uniform look. And it worked out. It looked pretty cool, but I still wasn't completely satisfied with it, and I thought that maybe it was my doing. I know you guys are tired of me talking about it, so I'll show you the hair. This is the hair here, and this is it. This is literally in the condition of it the last time that I wore it. And I wore it for about, I want to say, a month or so, maybe 2 months. Yeah, it's just a mess. It's just a whole entire mess. So basically what happened was, this is the natural curl pattern of the hair, the bundles that I bought here, and I'm not sure if there was what happened, but the curl pattern of the top of this hair, and this isn't the natural curl pattern, this is it straightened out and kind of wand curled and then brushed out and slept on. Well, actually not slept on, because I've never slept in this wig because it would tangle. Like, I was just too afraid that it would tangle. But yeah, this is definitely not deep curly. This is kind of like a loose wave, or like a Brazilian wave, or natural wave, or something like that, but that's definitely not a deep curly, whereas the closure is the deep curly texture that I wanted. And I guess when I received the bundles, I didn't really realize that they weren't the texture, because, you know, when you get them, they always come in like that really tight little, like, it wasn't like wavy, it was like a really tight curl. And then once I washed it, that's when it loosened up. And it wasn't until I put it next to the closure that I realized that they were two completely different textures, and that when I washed them, I couldn't just wet this and go. This was something that I had to do if I wanted to wear it. And the point of me getting a wig was so that I wouldn't have to deal with doing my hair every day. So it was kind of an inconvenience, kind of a nuisance. But anyway, I contacted WowAfrican and I let them know of my issue. They told me I had to send them pictures. So I sent them pictures that you will see also included in this video. And when I sent them the pictures, they didn't respond, so I had to reach out to them again and pretty much let them know, hey, this is what happened. So they basically told me, oh, it's because you ordered one in October and one in April. And to me, that's just really no excuse, because the curl patterns, regardless of what batch it came from, because they were trying to say, oh, it's because it's from different batches. I feel like regardless of what batch of hair it comes from, the category of a curl pattern doesn't change. So if this is deep curly in October, it should still be the same curl pattern that you're offering as deep curly in April. So I went back and forth with them for months. They literally did not want to work with me. They told me that they could take $10 off of my next purchase. Remind you that I spent $80 on the closure. It wasn't that expensive. That's the whole point of going to WowAfrican, because their hair is affordable, or at least it's advertised as affordable. So I paid, I think, like $80 or $90 for the closure, and they told me, oh, we can give you $10 off. So you're giving me $10 off of your mistake because you sent me hair that was miscategorized either the first or the second time. I'm not sure if the closure was miscategorized or the bundles were miscategorized, but I gave them my order numbers and they were able to see that in both orders I ordered deep curly. So the fact that I got deep curly and natural curl or body curl or whatever, not my problem. You should be compensating me in some way. So I told them, I said, you know, I can send the closure back to you. You know, I didn't want to keep the closure. I have no use for it because I don't have any hair that is that texture. So I told them I could send the closure back to them, and they said to me, well, did you use the closure? Yes, I did. Oh, well, we can't take it back because the closure has been used. Well, obviously, I wouldn't have noticed the difference or known the difference if I hadn't taken it out of its packaging, washed it, and tested it out to see if they, you know, went together first. So they went on with this $10 off thing, and I just was not having it. And we went back and forth. Literally, I'm telling you guys, I didn't wait like months to contact them. My graduation, I wore the wig on, I got the hair on, remember I told you, Friday, the date of my graduation. I contacted them Sunday, I believe, which was Mother's Day, or maybe Monday. So yeah, I contacted them then and let them know, you know, about the hair. So I contacted them immediately, and this process went on for months up until August, when I finally decided that I wasn't going to deal with this. I wasn't going to wear this hair. I wasn't going to deal with doing this hair every day because it was such a headache, and then I was just going to stop wearing it and get braids, and that's what I ended up getting. Okay, so what I can tell you about this hair that I hated, and it's so crazy because I actually even recommended the hair based on my research. I recommended the hair to my cousin and to one of my friends, and both of them told me that they hated the hair because it matted so much at the nape of your neck, and that it just got really tangled. And I experienced that myself, and I felt so bad that, you know, I kind of referred them to this hair prior to using it, just based off of all of these amazing YouTube reviews that I had read or watched rather. But you will get to see here the matting, and this white stuff is the, what is it, wet sealer that I used. But this here is the matting that happens at the nape, and this happens with every single wear of this hair for me. So I would have to literally carry a paddle brush with me in order to keep this hair detangled. Or I would usually just wait until I got home. You know, I would figure nobody can see that because it's under. But then even here, like, you can get a live tangle right on the outside. This hair was just very tangly and just wasn't what, as I told you, this was only my second time purchasing virgin hair, but the first batch of virgin hair that I did get was so good that I kind of already knew what to expect or what I was looking for. And I know some of you may ask, well, why didn't you get your hair from the person you got it from before? Well, I didn't get it from there because, one, the hair was extremely expensive, and once virgin hair got a little more popular, I found that many brands were cutting down on the size of the like the actual weight of the bundles. So instead of bundles, which at the time when I first started wearing, when I first looked into purchasing virgin hair bundles, the standard was 4 ounces. Now it's 3 to 4 ounces. I felt like the quality of people's hair also changed because I referred about 5 or 6 people to this person, and although my hair lasted me 2 years, the other people who I did refer, their hair didn't last as long. They experienced shedding, which made the hair thin out and get shorter. I'm not sure if they just got a bad batch of the hair or if the quality of the hair changed as a whole, but the prices definitely did not change. So I didn't want to spend that much on hair that I may not be happy with when I done so much research and watched so many reviews on this affordable hair that so many YouTubers loved. Now, in all fairness, I do think that you guys deserve to see the hair in its natural state, so I will go ahead and insert some clips of me washing this hair and after it dries, so that you can see how it looks when it dries, and you can see that it is 2 completely different textures. So this is the hair again. It looks exactly the same since the last time I washed it, and I'm going to treat it how I would treat my normal hair. So first, I like to use a wide tooth comb to go ahead and get out any initial tangles, any dead hair, so that those hairs won't get tangled into the hair once it's all wet and everything, because that can cause matting. And as you all know, I have naturally curly hair, so this should be, you know, pretty much the same. And the comb didn't stand a chance. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Denman, which is pretty good at getting out tangles. And as you can hear, this sounds really rough because that's how tough those tangles are to get out. So this is the end result. This is how much hair came out. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but it is when you consider the fact that this is weave and it shouldn't be shedding. So this is the hair all detangled. And now I am going to use the Suave Naturals conditioner just to go ahead and pre-condition it. And I'll leave this on for about 15 to 30 minutes just to soften the hair up a little. Then I'm going to bring out the semi-good stuff, some Carol's Daughter Black Vanilla shampoo and conditioner. And I'll use this in the hair. I use this in my real hair from time to time. And this is it with the conditioner. And you see that the curl patterns are slightly different, very easily confused, you know. I think it's still clear of why I couldn't tell that they would be different, especially as a first-time buyer from this company. But this is it with the conditioner, and you can, now knowing, tell the difference. Then I seal it off with the Maribel Carol's Daughter leave-in, and this is how it looks. And yeah, you can see the difference in definition of the curls while it is still wet. And then I'm going to let that dry, and this is the end result. So the front is really tightly curled while the ends and the bottom, the back, are really loose. And it may not look that bad here, but when you consider putting this on your head, you can clearly see the difference. I had to do what I had to do to make it work. So that meant straightening it and then curl winding it. But who wants to do that? When you make a wig, you want it to be effortless. Now, I remember in one review that I watched about WowAfrican hair with the person saying that they felt like the big name YouTubers who were reviewing the hair got the best hair, obviously because they're being sent the hair for free, and us people who pay for our hair were getting the short end of the stick. And I kind of ignored that, but after that experience with them and just how unwilling they were to correct a mistake that I did feel like was their fault, I realized that that person may have been right. And I can't remember who it was, but I do think that, you know, most of the reviews that we see about WowAfrican are from people who are sent their hair, and of course they are going to get, I don't think that those people are lying, but I do think that they are getting the best of the best. They're getting the creme de la creme of WowAfrican hair, while us who are paying for the hair may not be, and we may be at risk of getting bad batches. So will I ever purchase hair from WowAfrican again? Absolutely not. Yeah, just no. Will I ever recommend them? No. Will I ever wear this hair again? I am going to give it another shot. And I say that just to say that I did spend my money on it. So I am going to take it off of this cap because I've learned that I like the regular dome cap more than the netted cap. So I am going to give it another shot. I am going to sew my closure on first, so that it lays completely flat, and then even though the textures don't match, that is something that I will have to deal with. But I was thinking I could use this hair as tester hair, you know, so I do kind of want to play with color, especially for the warmer weather. So I was thinking either long blonde like Beyonce's hair is, like kind of wild and crazy and blonde, or a short ombre wavy bob. And I don't mind cutting this hair simply because if I don't do something like color it or cut it, I'm never going to use it, simply because I have found better brands since then, as you can see here. And if you guys would like to see a review on the hair that I am wearing now that I am absolutely loving, then just go ahead and leave a comment down below and thumbs up this video, and I'll be sure to go ahead and do that review for you to see. If you guys have any other ideas for any other videos that you would love to see, be sure to also let me and my sister know in the comments down below, and we'll be happy to go ahead and make those videos for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.